Dun, 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 dun. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards. And I'm really excited today because I've got a very special guest. Her name is Juana Sperling from the JJFAD group. Juana, welcome.
Hi.
So, give a quick introduction for anybody out there who don't know who you are.
Okay, my name is Juana, but I go by MCJB of the group JJFAD. We had a really big hit single in the 80s, Supersonic. It's still relevant to this day. It was just featured in the Sonic movie from Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, that's who we are and just excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So that's really awesome. I remember the song Supersonic. All my friends are freaking out. They're like, what? But what's really cool is I get to have you on specifically. I kind of watched a little video of yours and you said you were the founding member. Who is Juana Sperling outside of JJFAD?
Outside of JJFAD, I'm a mom of 4 girls. They're all pretty much grown now. My youngest is 20, and my oldest is 27. So mom first, and I'm also a school nurse. So I have a regular kind of a job as well, which I absolutely love. And I also am the coach for my elementary school's cheer team.
Wow, you're like a do-it-all mom. 4 kids. Incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. And I got to dip into this because I saw the video on TLC and it's fairly recent, 2020. You were looking for love. Did you find love?
No. Still looking.
Living that single life, huh?
Yeah, and I'm kind of enjoying it though. You know, it just gives me time to work on me and work on things that I've always wanted to do but didn't have time for. So it's really not that bad.
How do you balance all of that? You've got, being a mom, being a business owner, having a regular job, and then coaching, for the kids. How do you do that?
Mm-hmm. There's not enough hours in the day, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But COVID has actually made it a lot easier. I'm living a more boring kind of life. Kids aren't in school, so therefore I don't have to be a school nurse right now. And then cheers out because there's no school. So it's really, really given me time to work on my health, my body, my diet, just inside of myself, and take that time that COVID has given us to stay inside and really reflect on things in my life and what I want and what I won't settle for. And that's why I'm not really stressing on the whole, finding a partner thing, because it's really, whatever God decides to bring me, he decides to bring me. And I'm not going to go out and look for it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then I just take the time to continue working on myself.
Yeah, definitely. I think love does come, in divine intervention. That's how it happened with me. I was single 6 months ago. But I spent a lot of time trying to figure out like who I was, what I wanted. And then I get in relationships and then that relationship fell apart. And I was like, what is it? What am I doing wrong? What are they doing? I don't know, and the next thing you know, it just one day clicked with a really good person. So it's out there for sure. What do you,
and go ahead.
No, I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
I was just going to say, I always hear that the minute you stop looking is when it happens.
Yeah.
So I'm really big on, I'm a Christian, so I'm really big on letting God guide me and see Absolutely. Exactly where this takes me. So I'm just, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's in his timing. It's not in mine. So I got to stop stressing about it and just let God do his work.
Yes. Hands down to that. So the business JJFAD's still together. You're doing some touring. Yeah. Are you creating new music? Are you singing the same songs? What are you doing with that group?
During our shows, people want to hear the classics. So we definitely do our old songs on stage. We are working on some new projects in the making. We're trying to work on a documentary about our life. And then we're also doing, we have a new single that's coming out pretty soon that we're featured on. It's not our song, but it's someone else's song that we're on. And then we're also going to be working on new music too. So we're fundraising for that, and just, trying to stay relevant and make sure that, nobody forgets about us.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys have been together for a long time.
Over 32 years.
Oh my goodness. So basically your family, right?
Definitely. We're super, super close.
Yeah. Are you guys still in California? Because I know it's PST time.
Yeah. Baby D and I are still in California. Sassy C lives in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland.
Whoa.
Yeah. She found her husband and they moved he's from LA, but they moved to the East Coast.
Wow. What a big change for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you move if you found love in a different state or country?
I don't know. It depends on the circumstance, because I just have a new grandbaby and I don't want to be that far away from my grandchild.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah. So what's the coolest place you've been to that you toured on?
Ooh. I would say the craziest place is the Philippines. We went to the Philippines in the late 80s, and that was really strange because they don't know any English, but they knew every word to Supersonic. So it was just so weird to hear them singing the song. It was bizarre. So I think that was probably the strangest place that we've been to, but we loved it.
Yeah, that's so cool. So how long were you out there for in the Philippines? Like when you toured, you just like
We were out
drop
there for
in?
a week and a half.
Whoa.
No, we stayed like a whole week.
Wow, that is so cool. And so what's the next big thing for you guys? What are you going to do? You
We're
said a
just waiting for the
documentary?
world to open back up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. A
Yes,
lot of us
and we're
are.
just waiting for everything to open back up so we can get back on tour. We can get back to doing what we love, doing shows. So we're just waiting for that. And then also, taking time to write stuff down and work on our documentary. And because we don't want it to be mediocre, we want to tell it the raw truth, like everything that happened during our career, and the ups,
Yeah.
the downs, the happy, the sad. Just from the Ruthless family, NWA, Easy, Dr. Dre, from the very beginning all the way to where we are now. So we just really want it to be done correctly.
Right. Yeah, I bet you got a big story to tell, especially meeting, kind of interacting with so many different people in the music industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of stories. A lot of crazy stories, but we'll save that for the doc.
Right. So speaking outside the box, and I don't know if some people always ask, like, I wonder if, people who've already done so much with the public eye, do they ever still get nervous? Do they ever still, like, do you ever have anxiety? Do you ever get, worried about whether other people think?
Sometimes, but not really, because I feel like especially during shows, like I don't get nervous at all. I'm just ready. I get anxious. I'm ready to go out there and, do my thing, because I think, that the people that are there are coming to see you. So there's no like, oh, are they going to like me or not? Because they paid their money to see you.
Right.
And I think the only anxious part is we just want to do the best we can and put on the best show we can possibly put on for them. So I don't know if it's really a nervous thing, but it's just anxious to get out there and do the best that we can do.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's different from public speaking versus, getting up there and hosting your talent? Yeah.
Very much. Oh my gosh, very much so. Because I'm trying to break into motivational speaking. And I find that being in that intimate setting with people close to you is so much different than people being so far away from you and you being able to do what you're used to doing, and they already know what you're going to say, so they receive it so well. In public speaking, you don't know what to expect from your audience, and then you're close by them, and it's a little, now that I get nervous about.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I started public speaking in 2012. So I started a couple of years, 12 years ago almost. And I can tell you, I know exactly what you're talking about. There is a fear. Like, I can get up and I can podcast, I can dance in front of people, I can act a fool out at the club or whatever with my friends walking down Vegas. And then next thing you know, when I'm in front of a crowd, I always get this fear, but it's music actually that kind of draws that energy away from the fear of kind of crumbling me down. Cause I'll start
Yeah.
listening to music and I'll start doing squats and I'm just like beating on my chest like I'm some kind of superhero. It's what I do, my ritual before getting on stage is so like, I have to do that. I have to pretend I'm some kind of bigger than I am person. And
Yeah.
then I
It
get
pumps
out
you up.
there for
Mhm.
sure. And I always lead with music. Music's always on when I enter the stage. And
Uh-huh.
I'm always dancing and I get so just like gangster. And then then the music shuts off and I'm like, whoa, I'm in it. It's like womp, womp.
Exactly. And I'm very new at it. So it's going to take, some time for me to really get adjusted and figure out what works for me and what doesn't.
Yeah, I love that you're getting into it. I really feel like people, especially women, have empowering stories, and I'm sure you've got a really great empowering story. We need more speakers, and I always tell people there's just not enough of us. I know it feels like we're all competing against each other. That's more like the fun part of it, but really, we need more of us. As long as there's kids or people out there getting abused or people suffering, that means there's not enough of us, and we really need to step up more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I'm really into being an advocate for domestic violence against
Mm,
women in
mhm.
relationships. I'm really, really into helping that type of audience and empowering them and letting them know that there's ways out and all that kind of stuff. So that subject means a lot to me.
Yeah, why so?
I can't say that I experienced it to the level at which some that I have talked to have, but there was a
Mhm.
little bit of verbal and mental and that type of thing, a little bit of physical. But I think more than it happening to me is just my experience with feeling stuck
Mm,
because I
mm.
had kids.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest misconception and biggest mistake that you could ever do is feeling like you have to stay somewhere that you're not happy because of your children. And I did that. And
Yeah.
that really opened my eyes later on. Is like, I really didn't need to do that. And your kids know more than you think they do. And they understand more than you think they do. So it's
Oh, for
actually
sure.
worse to stay there than it is to move on.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with that. I was married for a couple of years and I stayed for the same reason. I was trying to make it work
Mhm.
because of my son. He's 21 now, but I get it.
Mhm.
And then once you're out, you're like, oh my gosh. Like at first you're like, I don't know how I can do it. But then when you're doing it, you're like, I did it.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
empowering and it's so freeing, that you don't know how strong you are until you're actually put in that position to be strong.
Yeah, definitely. And how long were you married for? I know you were
22
married.
years.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, you see, the thing is, I don't know if it's the years or if it's just the connection you have, like that story we keep
Yeah.
telling ourselves why we got to stay. It's like we're married to that
Mhm.
story, right?
Yeah.
And I actually have a friend right now who might possibly go through a divorce, and she's just having the
Mhm.
hardest time, dealing with
Yeah.
that. And it's kind of like it's hard to give them advice when like you're gonna make it, but you don't want to
Yeah.
sound too optimistic at first. You want to be like
Yeah.
conserving. Yep.
It you have to let whatever person you're talking to make that decision for themselves. You can only tell them your
Mhm.
experience. And that's all you can tell them because you can't. They're going to do what they want to do eventually.
Oh,
So
yes.
I try not to offer like you need to leave. I don't do any of that. I'm just like you need to do what you feel best doing. But this is my experience, and this is how I felt. And once I left, this is what empowered me, or how I got to feel comfortable and free. And you can just give them your experiences.
What do you think empowered you? Like what it was some of your biggest, besides support, what else helped
Uh-huh.
him get you, feeling
I
good about it?
think leaning on people. I was kind of not embarrassed, but I didn't want to talk about it. I
Mm,
tried to keep it all inside, but then I was like, I need to talk to my friends and I need to talk to my coworkers and I need, and you'd be surprised at how many people have gone through the exact same thing that you've gone through,
yeah.
and then they have advice. You take little pieces of advice from different people, but I think being vocal and talking about it and not being ashamed of it because it's not your fault, it's nobody's fault. It's just life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So once I was able to comfortably talk about it, then it really helped me to grow.
Yeah, definitely. And you've probably grown into a different person too from, being in that marriage.
Absolutely. And then I also, like I said, worked on myself so I know what I will accept and what I won't accept,
Right.
which kind of makes it hard for the other person because I'm not settling for
Yeah.
anything. So if I have to be single the rest of my life, then I'll be single, but I'm not settling at all just to say
Right.
I'm married, or,
Yes.
this guy I'm not. This is like the second chapter of my life. So I refuse to not be happy and not be so in love that I have like the butterflies in my stomach. I refuse
Right.
not to have those feelings. I want, this chapter of my life, I want it to be the best.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And what are you doing right now to make yourself the best, to be the best version of yourself?
I'm just really focused on health and eating habits, and I've lost like 60 pounds doing keto.
Woo!
And
Congratulations.
And I feel so much better in my skin. I feel younger, more vibrant. I feel like I don't have to worry about, I used to hide behind my kids when I took pictures, like stand in front of me, hide my little gut,
Yeah.
and it just feels good to be able to just like pose.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
So are you gluten-free now?
Yeah.
Are you gluten-free?
No, I'm not. just carbohydrate free.
Okay, right, yeah. You drink wine? Have wine
I
nights?
don't drink wine. Wine gives me a headache.
Okay, well, that's good that you don't drink wine. I felt like the more the more I've aged well, gracefully, I've had to tone down my wine. I used to be able to do like 3 glasses of wine a couple times a week. And now I'm just like 1 glass, maybe like a month, I might be able to get by. Cause you're right. The sugar, because there's so much sugar, especially when you change your diet. There's a lot of sugar, and that's actually the headaches and everything.
I never knew why. I have never just been able to. And I used to be so envious. Like my friends would be like, "Oh, I'm at home winding down, just having a glass of wine." I was like, "Oh, I wish I could do that, but it gives me a headache." So now my thing is coffee. I drink coffee a lot. Even to wind down, I drink coffee.
Oh my gosh. You could do kombucha. I don't know if you drink kombucha, but you could try that.
I'll try it. I've never tried it.
It tastes like, because I don't drink soda or anything like that. So I love trying. I'm kind of addicted to health food stores. And I was told don't shop there so much because you get like 1 bag of groceries, like $200. So right.
Yeah.
So I've had to like tone it down, but I love trying new teas, coffees. Like I'll get the coffee with all like the mushrooms that kind of help you, like the lion's mane, turkey tail, chaga, ashwanga. Yeah. That's where you want to look at, because that's the stuff that is like me.
Yes. Eventually I want to go vegetarian, but right now, since this is working for me and I feel good being keto, I'm just going to stick with it because I know it works for me.
Whatever
works. But I do try to limit my meat. I don't eat a whole lot of meat.
Yeah, that's good. That's really impressive that, you've changed everything and you're feeling healthier, more vibrant. And it's a really good example to somebody who can transform through healthier living. Right. And so you transformed your body. Obviously, it sounds like it transformed your mental state as well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have so much more focus and mental clarity. And I think the reason why is because there's not so much background noise. I'm able just to focus on what I need to focus on without having to worry about, oh my gosh, where are the kids? Oh my gosh, what time do I have to be here? What time, like, it's just like, there's no distractions. So it just makes it so much easier.
That does make it easier. Less distractions, especially with no men around too.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. You don't have to tell me the truth, but I'm curious. How young are you?
I am 56.
Oh my God, you look fantastic.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
I turned 40 last summer, And I realized, growing from a younger woman to an older woman,
Mhm.
aging is definitely changing, and it's changing
Yeah.
against my will. I did everything right. I did the health food after I kind of did a little bit what you did, a
Mhm.
little bit. I transformed a lot with my diet and everything, and became healthier, got into supplements and healthy food and exercise. And it's just part of my life now. It's not even a thought. I just get up and do it.
Right.
But what I noticed is that everything was great. And then I hit 39. And then I
Mhm.
noticed my hormones decided to do whatever the heck they wanted to do. And I was like, what's going on here? And, I always wonder what it's like for a woman, who went from this process of younger age, mid
Mhm.
age, and then now, where you're at now, your hormones are changing, things are changing. How was that process for you? Because it could be scary for some women.
Yeah, yeah. What I kind of knew what to expect, just watching your mom and seeing what they went through. But I was really blessed because my mom never went through like menopause. She never had hot flashes. She never did any of that
Really?
stuff. And I was like, hey, mom, how'd you get away with that? Very minimal myself. I don't really have hot flashes or anything like that. I think the most thing that I feel is like I'll wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a leg cramp, just like body aches and
Yeah.
stuff like that you never
Yeah.
used to be able to jump out of bed and get going.
Right.
I gotta take my
Right.
time now, do some stretches and
Yes.
so you can
Yes.
definitely I don't feel the age, but you can feel the effects of it in your body sometimes. And that's why it's so important for me to stay in shape so that process slows
Mm.
down.
That's so huge. Yeah, definitely. So that way you can keep your body, your mobility going. I know for me,
Mhm.
I have my moods are all over the place since I was a kid, though. And it seems like they've even gotten more out of control as I've gotten older. So now I'm trying to balance my
Uh,
hormones. And that in itself is like a whole new research, balancing your hormones. And I always wonder, like, are any other women going through this same thing? Because it feels like I'm such a challenge on some days. And then some days I'm like, da, 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 no big deal. Nothing bothers me. It's so strange.
yeah. Do you mind if I'm just gonna step away and let my dog in? I'll be right back.
Okay, sure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's back in a flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were discussing hormones and balance and the way women kind of fluctuate with. I read this book, it was fantastic, called The Female Brain, and it was about how women, our cycles go through out actually from the womb and then until our older age, and how our cycles are constantly changing every week, and what's controlling our mood swings. And it was so fascinating to me, and I think that's what made me want to try to take full control of myself, but it
Yeah.
doesn't always work out that way.
But sometimes it does. I think if the more in tune you are with your body, the easier it is to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because
Yeah.
I've tried so many diets and caloric deficit and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I just really need to find something that works for me. And this actually works for me. So I drink ketones. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it helps me stay in ketosis. So this has been the easiest lifestyle that I've ever done.
Really, I've heard of so many things about keto. Did you were you told about it from a friend, or did you see results from somebody, or did you see it online? Yeah.
I saw results from someone, then I started researching it, and then I found a girl online who actually sold ketones, which is what I drink. And I didn't get into it at first. I just kept following her page and following her page. And I'm just like, this is, and I see pictures, the before and afters. I'm like, this is amazing. So I finally, after it probably took me like 6 months before I even reached out. And then
Wow.
I became a rep. So I also sell ketones. But
That's so cool.
so yeah, I'm a keto proven consultant. So and the only reason I do that is because I want people to feel the benefits that I felt from it
Hmm.
and to get the results that I get from it. And a lot of people are skeptical. I was too, you know, but wow, once I dove in with both feet, it's been a life changer.
Yeah, that's kind of what it takes, is to make a decision to dive in with both feet. You know what?
Mhm.
what do you think works best for you? I mean, obviously inspiration and motivation go hand in hand, but when you're not feeling like doing something, do you like, what's your ritual? What do you do to get yourself to do it? If you're like, no, I don't feel like it.
I do affirmations.
Mm.
So I'm really big on get up, get going. God woke you up for a reason. You're beautiful. You can do this.
Aw.
Pick up that weight and get started. So I'm really big on
Yes.
affirmations because what your brain thinks your body does, it's so weird. And I tell people to do this. This is going to sound so awkward, but it's the honest to God truth. If your brain thinks of a certain part of your body, like, I'm going to use this example, but this is really bad. Like sometimes I'll get like a pain in my breast and then I'll just forget about it. But then if I think about it, it comes back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when you think about part of your body, if you focus on that part, you can feel it. And that's what let me know that your brain literally tells your body what to do. It tells your body how to feel, what to think. Your brain and what you say to yourself and what you think is so crucial. And I wasn't a believer in that, but I am such a believer in that now. Affirmations, think positive, don't talk negative about yourself, don't talk negative about others. And it just made my life a lot better, a lot more positive, I've always been real positive, but just happier and knowing that I can control what's going on in my body by just telling myself, okay, you know what, there's a pain there, but you know what, God's got it, I ain't gonna worry about it, let it go by. And then it's gone. So it's just, you just got to tell yourself and what you want to feel, how you want to feel, and what you want your body to do for you.
Whew. That is so real right there. I'm not even kidding, because that's so true. Everything you just said, you've got to become like the master of your ship, the captain of your ship, whatever you want to call it. It's so true. Your mind, what is it called? Mind over matter or mental over matter? I'm not even gonna try, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, it's so true. And most people you talk to that have a really vibrant and change of transformation in their life, they've done the body change or the health, they've done the mental, spiritual. That's why, yoga, I teach yoga. Yoga is a big part of my life because it's the union of the mind, body, spirit, So anything, whatever it is that you're looking into, you can see Juana does these things. She's got God, she's got health, she's got her mind. I mean, it's really cool. You're a great example of leadership. I love it. And I love that you're doing what you're doing. What else? What do you wish the world knew about you that they don't?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm such an open book. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like just to know that whatever I do in love. So, I mean, like for instance, I'm on TikTok now on behalf of the group. They get on when they can, when we're all together, but I mostly run the TikTok page and I'm having such a blast. And people always say like, well, why do you take the time to answer all these comments? And why do you take the time to respond to us? And oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Like no other celebrity does this and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, because if it wasn't for you, there's no us. And people don't understand that. Like, I'm so thankful that you even care to comment, So whatever I do, I just give it 100% and I just do whatever it takes to do it in love.
Yes. Yes. See, some people, they look at people like us, because I'm like that too. You probably have way more people on your TikTok. I'm just saying, but it doesn't matter. I love that you're on TikTok because I'm going to go follow you. But I think that some people, when they look at positive people, they kind of have this judgment like, oh, they're never unhappy. They don't know what it's like. And, all these things, unless they hear our story. But then they hear our story and they think because they've got a really good, successful story that they don't still, have trials and tribulations. So what would you say to that? Your dog has something to say.
I would just say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My dog's barking. Oh God. Angel, do you want to stop it real quick?
Yeah.
Shut the window so she can't see outside.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
This is life. This is real life.
I know, it's crazy. So you're asking, what do I tell the people about?
Yes. So if, people think that when you have a successful story that you don't go through trials and tribulations, how do people
Oh.
relate to you?
Um, I really need for people, the general public, to stop putting celebrities on pedestals because, yes, we're talented. Yes, we have a specific talent. Yes, we have people that adore us. Yes, we have people that hate us. Yes, we have everything that you have. We have everything that you go through. We go through. I have to go through menopause. You have to go through menopause. I have trouble in my marriage. You have trouble in your marriage. I want to meet my soulmate. You want to meet your soulmate. There's
Yes.
no difference between me and you. We're all the same. We're all humans. We're all going to go through the same things. I just happen to have a particular talent, and maybe your talent is something else that I wish that I had.
Yeah.
So no one should be put on a pedestal and be any better than anybody else.
Damn, that's so good. No, it's truth though. It's
Yeah.
I could tell, like, when you're speaking, you have, you have this feeling and this energy behind you that is so real. So thank you for saying
Thank you.
that. What do you now? I got to ask about the music real quick,
Yes.
because I'm always curious. So you rap, right? Do you sing
Yes.
also? Do you do any other types of things with your music? Do you produce? Do you write your own songs?
Mm-hmm. I write. We do a little bit of production, but not major. We leave that to the experts. No singing. I cannot hold a tune. I can rap circles around you, but I cannot sing. So, and it's funny because each one of us has a role in the group. Like I'm the rap artist, Baby D's the beatbox, Michelle's more the sassy one, but she's the rap artist as well. So everybody like has their role in the group. So it just really works for us.
That's so cool. I bet people ask you all the time to rap in front of home. They're like, "Hey, can you rap real quick?
I,
Can you spit for us real quick?"
I know all the time. Hold on.
I paused it and then I played it again.
Uh,
Yeah. So no, I was saying that's funny because sometimes like people, because I'm an author, I've got all these things. When you wear multiple hats, people are like, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" Right in front of you, and then something will click
yes.
on. It's like if I'm talking about my book, I click on about it, and if I'm
Yeah.
talking about speaking engagements, I click on. If I'm talking about yoga, I click on. It's like different personalities in me click on because I'm so passionate about that. Do you feel like that's
Yeah.
the same with you?
Yeah. Exact same. Exact same.
Yeah.
I can't even add to that because that's exactly how it is.
Yeah. It's so funny. See, we're much alike. We're more alike than we think. You know what? I think what's
Yes.
so cool, like, um, I was, I'm doing a podcast. I've been doing my podcast for about 3 years. And I actually thought about you from Tiffany Warner,
Mm-hmm.
who holds a podcast, Moments of
Yeah.
Clarity. Shout out Tiffany. And
Hey.
she said, "Oh, I had J.J.Fad on." I was like, and something just went bing, like, what? Like, and I literally was like fanned out. I was like, okay, you're not going to say you're a fan. You're not going to do that, but I just did. So, but what's crazy is, I was thinking about it because as an entrepreneur, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I was thinking you can't be afraid to approach people, just press a button, just go for it, just see who people are. And that's how I've always done it. When I started my journey 12 years ago into the, speaking life, and then I got into yoga and I got into all these things. I got into it because I was curious. What would happen if I contacted JJFAD? What would they say? What would happen if I looked for sponsors in this area? What would happen? I'm so curious. Um, do you feel like when you confront fear, what is your medicine for that?
I just confront it head on. There's always going to be things that we're afraid to do, that we're afraid to say, that we're afraid to confront. You just have to tackle that, and you just have to take a deep breath and go for it. So there's not too much that scares me. Yeah, I get nervous about things, but I confront my fear all the time. I just give myself a little pep talk. Remember those affirmations, and
Yes.
I just go for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's a lot of people that do get stuck in fear. And, then we find ourselves in relationships we don't want to be in, or jobs we're stuck in, or, friends with people that aren't feeding us or feeding our soul. So yeah,
Right.
I always think like everything we do stems from fear or love, and
Yeah.
I try to check myself. I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect, so
Right.
we try.
Do the best we can do. That's all we can do.
Absolutely. So, okay. I want to ask about this too. So, because I remember when I was single. What do you most enjoy about being single right now?
I think it's the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it without having to not really ask permission, but just say, hey, I'm going to do this, or hey, I'm going to do that, or hey, I'm going here, or hey, I can just get in the car and go. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
I love that. And I know that it's all a part of a relationship to tell people where you're going and, that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that when you're in a relationship, but just to have that freedom not to have to do that for the time being is actually really, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people that are in relationships and they think, I mean, it's great relationships, but then there's
Mhm.
that moment where they want to do something, they tell their partner, and then the partner's like, no, I really don't like that. And then that's all of a sudden you don't feel free. You're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I gotta kind of, do I gotta listen to what they're saying?
Uh-huh.
It gets weird.
It
I always
does.
think relationships are so weird sometimes if you don't have the freedom to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I understand it because it's a give and take. Like sometimes they have the right to say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with you doing that.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you have to take a step back and say, okay, because there's going to be a time where he's going to say something. You're like, I'm not comfortable with that. And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to show him that same, he's going to have to show you that same respect that you showed him when he said he wasn't comfortable with what you're doing. So it is a give and take. And, I'm not opposed to listening to someone's opinion about what I'm doing. But right now in this moment, it just feels amazing not to have to worry about that.
Right? It's a dance when you're in a relationship, and it's a dance when
Yeah.
you're not, when you're single too. I remember being
Mhm.
single and dating, and I've had some horrible dates. I don't know how dating's been for you. I've had some great dates that kind of just dwindled off. You went on 3 dates? Yeah?
No, that's a zero,
Oh, 0?
non-existent.
Do you take yourself out on dates? Do you do like self date nights?
My idea of the perfect date is Netflix and chill at home
That's a
by
perfect date
myself.
night. That's what I was going to ask you about. Good. Perfect. I need to ask about this. Self-love. I know it. I feel
Yeah,
like
I don't.
self-love can be a little bit different from, the health and the mindset and affirmations, because obviously it's all self-love. But when you really think about self-love, like how deep does that go for you?
I think it's first and foremost because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else.
Mm,
And that's the honest to God's truth. You have to love yourself before you can give yourself to somebody else and love them as much as they need to be loved. So it starts with you. If you don't love yourself, then there's no way you can give somebody else love.
yes. And what do you love most about yourself?
I guess I'd say the positivity because I never really see a negative. I always try to spin it to some kind of positive somewhere. So I'm always trying to find the good in people. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some people just aren't good. And you just have to accept that. But I always try to
Yeah.
find that positive in.
Are you like a devil's advocate? You're just like, somebody will say, oh no. And then you're like, well, maybe there.
Not really, because you have to form your own opinion. So
Yeah.
not really. I don't try to change people's mind about people because I've had people do that to me and say,
Mm,
oh my gosh, I don't like this person. She's horrible. And
yeah.
you are not going to like this person. And then I meet that person. I'm like, I love that person. She's
Yeah.
great. So I don't try to talk people out of what they're already thinking. I'm just like, oh, okay,
Mm,
well, all right. I don't really do that because I've had people try to tell me about someone else. And then I met that person and I
yeah.
did not have that impression at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's a fine line between people having their opinion and then respecting their opinion. And then also like the other side where it's like people are really catty, and women, you know, can get really catty and really judgmental of one another. I've been around women who are, you know, upfront to your face, like you're amazing, this and that. And then all of a sudden you're just like, and then they'll turn around and just show a really ugly side to them. And they're in the health and wellness industry, you know, the industry I'm in, the self-love, the help other people industry. And then you see some really dark sides. And I often wonder, like, okay, I wonder if their hormones are off. I wonder if they're, you know, they're on their cycle. Like, I wonder if they're going through something at home. Like, I
Yeah.
always try to think like that. Like, if there's something we can't see going on, that's going on inside of them or at home, it can get
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, for
That's for
sure.
sure.
Yeah. So one last thing and then we'll wrap it up. But you know, your group has been together for a long time, and I think that's a really strong bond. And I think that there's a lot of women out there, especially who don't have the women tribe and support like, you know, some of us have. What would you say to women out there who don't really have anybody to lean on, don't have the support, going through a really tough time? How can they find hope outside of that?
The only thing I can say is get your Bible, trust in God, open it up, do Bible study, go get those books. That's because the Bible's hard to understand. I mean, like I'm
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep. I start reading, I'm just like, so so I know that that's hard to say, but there's so many things at like a Christian bookstore that can give you like day-to-day guidance on what to do and how to understand what this book means and how to understand what that book of the Bible means. So if you can get it broken down for you in layman's terms and just open that up, and it tells you like, when you're going through this particular thing, read Psalms. If you're going through this particular thing, read James. If you're going, you know, so if you can get those little things to tell you like where to turn to your specific problem, it really, really, really helps.
Yes, yes, perfect. That's beautiful. It's like God show you the way and guide you. Yeah, definitely. Oh my God. Okay, I know time's coming up and it's wrapping up, but I just want to say, Juana, it was such a pleasure having you on. And I'm
Thank
going to give you a moment to tell everybody kind of a plug in what you'd like, where to find you, and also having the show notes. Go.
All right. Okay, so we're on all social media platforms under JJFAD. On TikTok, though, it's at official JJFAD. All of our sites are verified except for TikTok because we're new on there. So hopefully that'll come soon. We're bugging them to death. So hopefully. And yeah, just look for us on the road. As soon as Corona's over, our tour schedule is going to start back up. I know in June we'll be in San Bernardino, California. In December we'll be in Sacramento, California. And that's if, you know, things don't get canceled. But just look for us on all social media. We try to keep you updated on everything that's going on JJFAD. We love interacting with our fans, and just stay tuned.
You heard it here, everybody. Stay tuned, and I'll have everything about Juana Sperling and JJFAD in the show notes. Thank you so much, Juana, for coming on. I really appreciate your time and everything you've had to say today.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Sharing is caring. Share the subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.